It's 8:30. Good morning, I'm Ian Crouch with Hunter News. The Newcastle Muslim Association has been targeted in the wake of the Paris terror attacks with a hate message posted on the Wall's End Mosque. It's understood two men went into the grounds of the mosque earlier this week and posted a newspaper front page headline which read "Slaughterhouse," along with a handwritten note saying "Burn in hell, yous do something, your problem, fix it." Premier Mike Baird is set to be confronted with a protest against privatisation when he visits Newcastle on December 1 for a Property Council luncheon at City Hall. The protest aims to draw attention to issues surrounding privatisation and the Hunter workers such as bus drivers and ferry crew who unions believe may be left jobless. Newcastle Trades Hall Secretary Daniel Wallace says it's important for the Hunter to challenge privatisation issues.
Public transport's been built up from generations of hard work in Newcastle. It's been built up from generations of consultation with the public. To actually have no consultation to go private is not acceptable to Newcastle Trades or Council, to Hunter workers or the community.
The Defence Department is under fire again today over its handling of the Williamtown RAF base contamination scandal. It's emerged Defence officials tried to hose down a public warning issued by the EPA in September with secret documents revealing they believed fishing bans shouldn't be introduced. The Herald reports one official described the statement as uninformed. A project to improve road safety will be started this month along Broke Road in a $17.1 million joint project between Cessnock and Singleton councils. The funding for the project was received through the state government's Resources for Regions program in support of regional communities affected by mining by addressing infrastructure constraints. Cessnock Council's Design Delivery Manager, Katrina Kerr, says the project will come with many improvements for the area.
This will make an enormous difference, not only to commuters who use this route to get to work, but for the visitors, the vignerons, the businesses in our vineyards area. It's really important. It makes a big difference to visitor experience, and it makes a difference to safety.
The rundown Victoria Theatre in the heart of Newcastle is set for a new lease of life. The historic building has been bought by the Century Venues Group, which also owns the Enmore Theatre in Sydney, a day before it was meant to go to auction. The group is expected to restore the theatre to its former glory and turn it into a grand entertainment hub. Performing Arts Newcastle executive member Shane Brandon says many professional touring theatre companies are likely to return to Newcastle once the Vic is restored.
For example, Sydney Theatre Company are looking for a venue that's sort of in between the size of the Civic Playhouse, which sits about 180, and the size of the Civic Theatre, which sits about 1,500. So a venue about this size would really put Newcastle back on that touring circuit for professional productions coming through.
New figures show the average person in the Hunter visits the doctor about 6 times a year. The latest snapshot from the National Health Performance Authority reveals about 80% of the appointments are bulk billed, while we usually only see a specialist once a year.
Sport, thanks to our sponsor, Warners Bay Sports Club.
The Newcastle Jets are confident a fresh team will produce a good result when they take on Adelaide United at Cooper Stadium on Sunday. The last time the two teams met in Adelaide, the Jets suffered their worst defeat in history, going down to the Reds 7-0. It's been a very different season for last season's Wooden Spooners so far, with a 1-1 draw with the Mariners over the weekend being the worst result so far. Meanwhile, Adelaide sit last on the ladder after 4 straight losses. Charlestown trampolining brothers Ty and Sean Swadling have begun their Rio Olympics campaign, heading to Sweden for training ahead of the World Championships in Denmark in December. The championships are the first and most important qualifying event for Rio, with the top 8 finish giving the competitors' country a spot at the Olympics. Ty and Sean was 6th in the synchro division at last month's World Cup, but failed to finish their second routine after coming off the trampoline. And in golf, James Neddies is on par after teeing off in the Australian Masters earlier this morning. The Charlestown professional is looking to make a comeback after a disappointing performance in the US Web.com Tour Q School. That's sport. I'm Emily Crowe.
2 NURFM News Time 26 to 9.